Hey guys, all good? Chelsea announced the departure of Mauricio Pochettino this Tuesday. It is an important change to comment on, as it brings to light some details about what Chelsea intends for its future. It doesn't come as a super surprise because, in recent days, some have already been talking about this possibility. Pochettino himself had recently mentioned that he saw no guarantees of permanence, but it still draws attention as it was a strange season for Chelsea. When making an overall assessment of Chelsea, we see a different picture of the first part of the season compared to its end. My intention here is not to focus specifically on the team's performance, tactical adjustments, or individual choices, but rather to analyze the club's project more broadly, what stage it is at, and what the intentions are for the next step. Under Roman Abramovich, Chelsea became accustomed to frequent managerial changes, an approach that, although it seemed chaotic, yielded impressive results, including winning major European and domestic titles. This strategy of frequent coaching changes has often led to almost accidental successes from a management perspective. The instability in technical leadership was compensated by the club's financial capacity, which allowed the hiring of elite players and renowned coaches, creating strong squads that could achieve results even in the midst of internal turbulence. However, with the change of ownership and the entry of new investors, there are signs of an attempt to redefine this approach. Chelsea appear to be seeking a more sustainable, long-term strategy, both in terms of player development and coaching staff stability. The club has invested heavily in young talent and improving its facilities, signaling a vision for the future that prioritizes building a solid foundation and creating a lasting legacy. Chelsea's trajectory over the past few decades offers notable examples of how coaching changes can produce stunning turnarounds. Emblematic cases such as Avram Grant leading the team to the Champions League final, Roberto Di Matteo winning the European title in 2012, and Thomas Tuchel transforming the season and winning the Champions League in 2021, illustrate this trend of immediate success after a change of command. These episodes demonstrate that, in some circumstances, a new tactical and motivational approach can revitalize a team and lead it to extraordinary results. However, instability is not a sustainable long-term strategy. Frequent coaching changes create an environment of uncertainty that can undermine team cohesion and player confidence. Todd Boehly's management at Chelsea accentuates this issue by making numerous signings and investing substantial amounts in the squad. The arrival of many new players in a short space of time raises expectations for immediate performance. Fans, investors, and the administration itself expect the team to function perfectly, generate positive results, and play convincingly. Signing a number of talented players and spending vast sums of money creates additional pressure on the coaching staff and players to justify these investments. Integrating new athletes requires time and patience to develop on-field chemistry and tactical understanding. Often this does not happen instantly, and a lack of quick results can lead to even more instability and changes in the coaching staff. While Chelsea have shown that spectacular turnarounds are possible with coaching changes, Boehly's management needs to balance that approach with the need for stability and long-term planning. Sustainable success in football is not only built with heavy investments and frequent signings, but also with a strategic vision that allows the team to develop and grow in a cohesive manner. The true measure of effective management will be the ability to combine smart investments with a stable environment conducive to the continued development of the squad. This season was not one in which Chelsea pleased, performed, or did well. Chelsea managed to recover in the end, which created an encouraging image, but it is necessary to take a few steps back to understand the philosophy of this board and the challenge it brings. Signing a bunch of stars and spending a lot of money is one thing. Another is Chelsea, who in recent years have completely changed their squad. The Champions League champion Chelsea with Thomas Tuchel is completely different from the current Chelsea in terms of team formation. Chelsea changed coaches several times. From Tuchel to Graham Potter, who spent a very short time in charge, Lampard returned on an interim basis, and the bet on Pochettino seemed to be for the long term, but ended in one season. It is difficult to think about development and stability, keywords for what Chelsea wants. The Boehly project consists of signing many young players with long contracts, as a way of circumventing financial mechanisms and amortizing transfers. The idea is to take a signing, give it 8 years of contract, and divide the transfer value by 8 years. This was a dynamic adopted, thinking about developing a long-term project, something common in American sports. However, in football, long contracts are rare to be respected until the end. The player may not work out, and you give up on him in a year or two. Or it appreciates in value, and you need to renew the contract. Chelsea needs to ensure stability for this development to happen and potential to be achieved. Chelsea have to think about the next steps to ensure a minimum of continuity. Many changes of coaches generate expenses and choices of favorites, making continuity difficult. Chelsea are at a stage where they need to think about how to ensure that the development of the young players signed happens in the best way possible. Hiring a young coach can be a bad label if you don't think about your playing style and priorities. Pochettino had a difficult season, but the end was encouraging. Perhaps, just as things were taking a turn, work stopped, as happened with Graham Potter. Chelsea have the lowest average age in the Premier League, under 25, considering a team that has often had a 39-year-old defender, Thiago Silva, as its starter. Many players are young and expensive, such as Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Mudryk, and Cole Palmer. Instability harms the development of these players. Chelsea needs communication between all areas to ensure that player development occurs in the best way possible. Chelsea's start to the season was marked by uncertainty and a lack of clear direction. The team seemed disorganized, and the performance on the field reflected the absence of a consistent strategy. However, as the season progressed, signs of a more cohesive and organized team began to emerge, suggesting that, with the right direction, Chelsea have the potential to achieve great things. Chelsea's next manager will need to be someone capable of maximizing the squad's talent, especially players like Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo, who are yet to reach the expected level of performance. Both are high-quality athletes with enormous potential, but they need guidance and a stable structure to fully flourish. Getting the best out of these players will require a coach who understands their individual skills and knows how to integrate them effectively into the team's tactical scheme. The constant change of coaches has been a significant obstacle to the team's development and continuity. Frequent changes in technical command interrupt development processes, destabilize the club's environment, and make it difficult to implement a consistent playing philosophy. This is especially detrimental to young players, who need time and stability to develop and adapt to high-level football. Chelsea need firm conviction when choosing their next coach. The club must look for a professional with a clear vision and the ability to implement a long-term project. This coach must have the support of the board to work with autonomy and enough time to build a cohesive and competitive team. Stability in coaching is fundamental to the continued development of players and the lasting success of the club. By trusting a coach to lead the team for several years, Chelsea can create an environment more conducive to the growth and maturation of its talents. This will allow your players to reach their full potential, contributing to a stronger and more consistent team. Stability and development are essential not just for immediate success, but to ensure Chelsea remain a dominant force in European football in the long term. I hope the decision to fire Pochettino was based on the certainty of wanting another coach, as has been speculated, and not just a split without clear direction. Let's see how Chelsea will progress from now on. The team has talent, but needs stability to transform this talent into consistent performance.